Stephanie Stitches here. Welcome to my channel where together we sew. If you're brand new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell for notifications so you'll know when I post up videos like this one or when I go live. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I love seeing all of you here and your comments down below. So today I am working on the Patriotic Days block of the month from Pastry Shop Quilts. If you don't know what this is, then go back and watch my previous videos. I have a video talking about the Pastry Shop Quilt block of the month, Patriotic Days. It's a red, white, and blue quilt with an original pattern from Sherry over at Pastry Shop Quilts. And then I have month 1 and month 2 blocks sewn with you, along with you in videos previous to this video. So if you would like to sew along, you have to buy the kit and the pattern from Sherry from Pastry Shop Quilts. There's a link in the description box below, and it's not too late to catch up because it is just a block of the month, like one block, or well, 2 blocks actually. We're doing 2 blocks a month, and as you can see, I have blocks from month 1 and month 2 on the wall behind me. They're really, really beautiful blocks, but because you have a month between each set of blocks, you definitely have time to catch up if you are interested. So head on over to her website, and of course these videos will stay on my YouTube channel indefinitely, so if you don't see this until a few months from now, you can still catch up, you can still buy a kit from her. We will end this around, it's kind of started around Labor Day and it's going to end around Memorial Day, so we'll have a patriotic quilt done for all the American patriotic holidays for next summer, so I'm really excited about this. So far so good. I love the blocks, they're beautiful, and can't wait to get started on this month's blocks. So this month again we have 2 blocks. We have the, hold on just a second, I can't remember the name, the Star Flower block and the Barn Star window block. So let's get started on the Star Flower block first. So grab your fabrics and sew along with me. Okay, here's all my pieces all laid out for this block. This is again the Star Flower block, the first block of the 2 for this month. And it looks like the directions tell us to make the flying geese first. So I'm going to set aside all the pieces that we don't need and then grab the ones that we need for the flying geese. So set aside these. We're going to need the blue star, the blue floral, some of the white squares, and some of the white rectangles. So the blue floral of the rectangles, the blue stars, the white background squares, and the white rectangles. So we're going to make 4 of each one. So I'm going to count out 4 because there's more than 4 here, because we'll use the other ones in another step later on. So there should be 8 of these. 2, 4. If I counted and cut correctly, 6, 8, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, put those aside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and chain piece these. Now, if you like to draw your lines, you could draw your line from corner to corner. I do use the diagonal seam tape from Cluck Cluck, so I like this because it saves me time of drawing lines, but if you need to draw lines, definitely go ahead. And we're just going to sew from the top left-hand corner to the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to do that on all these pieces, and then on all these pieces. Then we'll trim those, press them, and do the other side. It'll just save us a little time if we chain piece some of these. Now I did cut the thread on the first one, even though I was going to chain piece these, because I did realize that the background fabric, I believe, oh, maybe it's not. Okay, it looked like it was upside down. I don't think it is now that I see it. I thought I was going to have to rip that one apart and start over, but it looks like actually it's the right way. This background is a tone-on-tone. There's little bitty stars on it, and it's kind of a difficult one to tell whether it's right side up or not. So in the light over here underneath my machine, it looked like it was wrong, but now that I'm seeing it, I think it's correct. So I'm gonna leave it. Good. Okay, there's those. I'm gonna do these ones. Again, directional, or not directional, but tone on tone. So I'm just looking for that. I do love tone on tones in the quilts, but for ones that are very light tone on tones like this one, it can be a little tricky. And honestly, if you put one upside down because they are so light, you probably wouldn't notice, honestly, once the quilt is all together. I've got those ones together, and I've got these ones together, so now I'm just going to cut them apart really quick. And then cut a 1/4 inch away from the line that we just sewed. And then we're going to press all these here in just a minute. I'm going to cut them all first. Okay, got those trimmed. Now I'm going to press them. These guys hold away for a minute. Now I get this question all the time when I press as to what this little pen is that I'm using. It's not glue, because I've had several people ask me if it's glue. It's the Acorn Precision Piecing pen, which has a starch alternative concentrate in it, and it just helps get those seams nice and flat. Thought I'd just answer that now because I get asked that a lot. Can you quilt without it? Yes. Do I want to? No. This gives you nice flat seams. I love it. And actually you don't have to do one at a time like I just did. So I'm not sure why I did that, but you can do a few at a time because it doesn't dry super quick. It dries with the iron. So I can can go ahead and lay out some here. I'm going to do the other 4, and then we'll sew the other side on just the same way, but on the opposite side. And we'll do the same process where we trim and press. There seem to be a lot of flying geese in these blocks. I think Sherry likes flying geese like I like half square triangles. And that's alright. We all have our thing. Okay, so that's one side. Put my ironing board aside here. Alright, let's sew the other side. So same thing. But instead of this corner, we're going to start now at the top right and go to the bottom left. And because we already have one side done, I don't have to see which way the fabric needs to go, the background fabric. So that's good. Just make sure you put right sides together. I almost put the wrong side down. Okay, I'm going to finish sewing these, and I'm going to trim all these and press them, and then we'll come back and do the next step. Okay, so I trimmed and pressed all of our flying geese. So now we need to put them together just like this. So they're going to look like a chevron. So the white is going to touch the white, and these become the star legs of the center. So let's put all 4 of these together. And then after we put these together, we're going to add 2 of them to the center block to get that row done. To get the center row done. So you're going to want to press this. I'm pressing it down towards the blue star rather than up towards the point right here. that a little press. And we're going to go ahead and I've finished the other 3. I did those ahead of time just to save a little bit of time. I'm going to go ahead and attach 1 to each side of the center block. And then the other 2 we're going to put aside for now, but at least we'll have our center row done. I'm actually going to press in towards the center, because if I press back this way with that point right there, it's going to get a little bulky. Okay, I'm going to do this side. I love this fabric in the center. This blue floral is so pretty. And again, I'm going to press in towards the center. Don't want to lose that point right there. Okay, so there's our center row. So I'm just going to set this up here out of the way for now, along with these other pieces that we made. And the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab your 3-inch background squares and your 3-inch navy floral squares. Now you're going to want to draw a line on the back of these. I don't usually draw lines except when I'm making half square triangles, because we're going to sew on either side of that line. And I would use a scant 1/4 inch on these to make sure that your pieces come out to the right size. So put these right sides together and then sew a scant 1/4 inch on either side of the line, and then we're going to cut them apart and trim them down. And you're going to do this times 4. To get 8 half square triangles. Okay. So we're going to press these guys towards the dark, and then after we press them, we can trim them down. Give these guys a press over here. Okay. Alright, now let's trim these down to 2.5 inches. I'm just using a regular old ruler that has a diagonal line, and I'm putting that diagonal line right on the seam that I've sewed at the 2.5 inch mark. But trim these down however you like. I know there's a lot of specialty rulers for half square triangles. You can use one of those. You can use a regular ruler like I did, or whatever your favorite tool is. And you're going to do this for all 4 of the 3-inch squares. Okay, I'm going to set those aside and show you the next step. The next step will be, actually the next step will be, sorry about that, joining these together in pairs of 2. So you're going to want to, after you get all the half square triangles done and trimmed, you're going to want to join them in pairs of 2. So you should have 4 pair by the time you're done. So let's do that real quick. Okay. And then I would press these towards this white, this direction. It seems to want to lay that way naturally, so always try to press in the direction that it wants to lay naturally, if you can, because then your fabric is going to lay much nicer. Okay, so you're going to have 4 pair of those, or that's what it's going to look like from your view. Now, the next thing that we need to make to finish this block is, these are kind of like half flying geese, so it's a flying goose, I guess. We're only putting one wing on. So take your leftover white background rectangles. You should have 4, and your leftover squares, the navy floral squares. So I'm going to lay that right on top of here, and we're going to sew from the top left to the bottom right. And you're going to do all 4 the same way. We're not adding another side like the other flying geese, just the one side. Now I'm going to trim away 1/4 inch. And press it towards the dark. And you're going to do this 4 times. So you have something that looks like this, like a half flying geese. Okay, I'm going to finish the rest of these pieces and the rest of these pieces, and then we'll come back and we'll assemble the entire block. Okay, I've got all of these pieces made and all of these pieces made. So now we need to join these together to make a square or a unit. So just make sure that your rectangle with the triangle, with the single triangle, is on top of the 2 half square triangles, and they should all be going the same direction once you put that piece together. And I'm going to press this down towards the half square triangles. Okay, now that we've got those done, I did the other ones off camera. We're going to add it to these chevron pieces that are left over, and we had 2, so we're going to make 2 identical rows. So we're going to turn this block so that the triangles are all on the outside of our block, because these are going to form the corners. So there, you should have a triangle in the upper left hand corner, the upper right, lower left, and lower right as well. So the white, the big piece of white should be touching your chevron. So we're going to sew that like that. Let me grab the other piece. And then if you look at this, you're going to turn it and sew it like that. So all the big part of the white should be touching the chevron in the center. So we're going to sew that on either side, and you're going to make 2 of these to make the top and the bottom of this block. And then I'm going to press this towards the white because it seems to naturally want to go that way. Plus we press the center in, so then that they'll nest nicely together. Okay, I'm going to do the other side, and we're almost done. Now don't forget to make 2 of these, 2 rows. Yep. The machine came unthreaded. Hold on just a second. Okay. Again, I'm going to press this one towards the center. Or I mean, not towards the center, towards the white. Even though I just finger pressed it the wrong way. That's okay, it's just finger pressing. You can fix it. And even if you press something the wrong way with your iron, you can definitely repress it the other direction. Okay, so I've added 1 row already to the bottom of my star block here. And so I'm going to add this row just by flipping this on top. I'm going to make sure that these center pieces nest with the center here. So right here and right here. And then the rest, there's not a whole lot to line up. There's 1 piece right here you can line up if you like, but on this end there's not. So as long as those centers line up, you should be good. Block is really pretty. Little complex, this block. It's not hard, just lots of steps, but it's looking really pretty. So totally worth it. You can pin if it makes it easier for you. I'm not pinning, I'm just feeling it, making sure that those centers are nested well. Okay. And good. Okay, so everything looks good. Alright, so this is our first block from month 3. Next we're going to do the Barn Star window block, but we're going to take a little bit of a break. So 7th inning stretch time, go grab some coffee, grab a little snack, take a little walk and join me for the next block in just a few minutes. Here are the pieces for the Barnstar window block. These are for the quarter square triangles, these are for the corner units, and this is for the center block. So we're going to start with the center block. That's the first part in the directions. This one's pretty simple. It's basically a square and a square. And so we're going to add these little squares to each corner of this big square. So we're going to sew diagonally across them. And we're going to do that for all four corners, but we're going to add 2 at a time. So we'll do the top left corner and the bottom right hand corner, and then we'll trim and press those, and then we'll do the top right and bottom left after that. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on. Okay, so I'm going to trim these away now, 1/4 inch, and then give them a press towards the dark or out, and then add the other 2 sides. Just like that. So there's that block pressed, or those 2 pressed. Now I'm going to add these other 2 squares on either side. Okay, I'm going to trim that away. And again, press these out. That's cute. I like the way that looks. Alright, I'm going to press that. Okay, so that's the center of our block. That was quick. Nice. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to make our corner units. And to make our corner units, you're going to take your large background square, and the rest of the navy check, and add 1 to each corner, sewing from the bottom left to the top right. You're going to do all 4 the same. And then we're going to trim away 1/4 inch. And press this out towards the check. Okay, and you're going to make 4 of those, so you should have 4 pieces that look like this. They're all going to be the same. Those are our outer units. I can't speak today apparently. Okay, so the next part is making our 1/4 square triangles. So as you can see, this block is going pretty quickly. There's a few steps, but not as many as the last block. So the first thing you're going to want to do is draw a line corner to corner, which I've already done. And we're going to lay them right sides together. And sew a 1/4 inch on either side of the line. I would sew a scant 1/4 inch. That's just my recommendation. Although there's enough material here to trim off that should be fine. Size-wise. Oops. Darn needle came out dirty again. I think it's time for my machine to have a needle change. I think that's why the needle keeps breaking the thread. How often do you guys change your needles? I try to change mine at least once a week, but depending on how much I'm sewing, sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes I need 2, and I've been sewing quite a bit lately, so I'm thinking I need to change my needle again. Okay, so now that I've sewn that, let me get that extra thread out of the way. I'm going to cut this apart on that drawn line. And then we're going to press these towards the dark side. Just going to give them a little bit of a finger press here. And over here. Use some of my magic juice to make them lay nice. Okay. And then my press. Now I believe the next step says to trim these down to 5 inches, I believe. You can do that if you like. I'm not going to do that, so follow the instructions if you like, or you can do it my way. I just wait till the end to trim my 1/4 square triangles down, because else you're trimming twice, and I feel like you're just creating more work for yourself. So I'm just going to leave them as is and trim everything at the end. Okay, so those are trimmed. Now the next thing I need to do is flip one of them over and draw a line corner to corner on the back side. Well, just one. I put my pen away. I sure did. Okay. Okay. After you've done that, then we're going to lay one on top of the other, right sides together, and you're going to match up the gingham to the star and the star to the gingham. And since we pressed to the dark side on both of them, you should be able to feel where those seams are touching each other right here in the center. They should nest right up against each other. Now, you may want to pin on either side just to hold this in place. Mine's nesting really, really well, so I'm not going to pin. And then again, we're going to sew to the left and right of that line that we drew, 1/4 inch, and I would do a scant 1/4 inch again. Don't pin, go a little slow so you can make sure that those seams are staying nested in the center. Okay, so now we're going to cut apart these blocks again on that drawn line. And if we did this correctly, it should yield us 2 1/4 square triangles. Yes, perfect. Okay, so we're going to give these guys a press. And then after we press them, we're going to trim these down to the size listed on the pattern. I just love 1/4 square triangles. They're so happy. So essentially, if you've made Ohio Star blocks before, we're making an Ohio Star block, but with a little bit of a twist with that square and a square in the center. Okay, grab my iron, give these guys a little bit of a press, and after I get done pressing them, then we're going to trim them down. Okay, those guys are all pressed, and all we have left to do is trim them down. Now, when you trim down or square up 1/2 square or 1/4 square triangles, what you need to do is put your ruler diagonal line on one of the sewn lines, and then find the center. So if you're trimming these to 6 inches, say, you're going to put the 3-inch mark right on the center. If you're trimming them to, 4.5 inches, you're going to put 2 1/4 right on the center. So whatever that size needs to be on a 1/4 square triangle, you need to find the half of your measurement and put that right on the center. Okay. That's one. Now I've made one of these, which yields 2 1/2 square triangles for you. You're going to make 2 of these to get 4 1/2 square triangles all together. Or 1/4 square triangles, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Make 2 of these to get 4 1/4 square triangles. Okay. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Alright, so now I've got all these pieces parts. So this is what we're going to do. The top and bottom row are going to look like this. So the light blue gingham is going to go towards the center. The dark blue stars is going to go towards the white outer units. You're going to take your center square here and you're going to put one of these hourglass blocks, the light blue, next to the navy blue for the center. So let's go ahead and sew these together. That one, and I'm going to press the top and bottom row out because that's the way the fabric kind of wants to lay, which means we'll press this center row in. One tip when you're putting these together, so you don't lose your point here on the square and a square, what I like to do is put this block on here but then flip everything over and sew on this side so I can see where that point is on the back so I don't cut my point off. So I'm kind of sewing it from the back side, but I like to make sure didn't do all that work with the square and the square just to cut the point off. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one pressed. Alright, and then I'm going to press this one in. This one's a little bit more awkward to press, but we'll get it there. And then I've got my other row here. So then we're just going to join all three of these together. Oop. See, good thing I saw that before I started. Flip that over. So this block was a lot quicker than the last block. Not as many pieces parts to make before we finished it. good. Alright. Now the bottom row. Okay, so there is our barn star window block. Oh, so pretty. I just love it. Okay, so that concludes month 3 with the star flower block and the barn star window block. I think that's right. Yeah, window block. Those are beautiful blocks. Of course, they're all blues, which I love. You guys know how much I love my blues. But this project is so good. I just love it. So thank you again to Pastry Shop Quilts for hosting this block of the month. And I look forward to sewing along block number 4 with you in December. Oh my gosh, we're talking about December already. I can't hardly believe it. This year's flying by. Alright guys, take care. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.